Hello, dear children. Welcome to our weekly story time. This week, we'll finish our story that takes place in Brambly, Hedge, the Winter Story by Jill Barklem. We have some friends who will be listening again. A gray baby mouse is sleeping down there in the corner. And we have another friend who's wearing kitties on her shirt, but she promised to keep the kitties on her lap. They won't disturb the mice, she said. And another friend who might be wearing mice on her dress. And another friend who wants to hear the rest of the story, just like we do. Let's begin. Sweetness from the flowers, a candle from the bees, for our hearts a story, light and peace. Last week, we left off with the mice and a fresh snowfall at Brambly Hedge. And there was talk of enough snow being there for a snowball. And that's not the kind of snowball that we roll up into a snowman or a snow mouse. But this is a snowball that is a party with dancing and fun and food. Every family along the hedge row kept shovels, maps, and ropes in a special cupboard by the front door. And after breakfast, the mice dug tunnels from tree to tree, linking them all to the store stump. Teasel and Wilfred were sent down to help, but they soon found that it was much more fun to throw snow at each other, and so were sent home again. Lord Woodmouse dug his way through to old Mrs. Eyebright and helped her to light a fire. "I haven't seen snow like this since I was young," she sighed. "The last snowball was held in the year Mr. Eyebright and I were married. I'm the only one left who can remember it now." When the tunnels were finished, all the mice gathered noisily in the store stump hall. Mrs. Apple took some seed cake from the cupboard and prepared a jug of acorn coffee. The mice helped themselves and gathered around Mr. Apple, who held up a paw for silence. "Lord Woodmouse and I have agreed," he said when they were quiet, "that we should follow in the tradition of our forefathers." He cleared his throat nervously, straightened his whiskers, and recited, "When the snows are lying deep, when the field has gone to sleep, when the blackthorn turns to white, and frosty stars bejewel the night, when summer streams are turned to ice, A snowball warms the hearts of mice. Friends, I declare that a snowball will take place at dusk tonight in the ice hall. Where's that? Whispered Clover, as the mice clapped and cheered. Wait and see, replied Mrs. Apple. You come home with me and help prepare the feast. There was a deep drift of snow banked against the store stump, and the elder mice, after discussion, declared it to be just right for the ice hall. Mr. Apple dug the first tunnel to check that the snow was firm. It's perfect, he called back from the middle of the drift. The mice picked up their shovels and the digging began. The snow was dug from inside the drift, piled into carts and taken down to the stream. Wilfred and Teasel helped enthusiastically, but they were sent home again when Mr. Apple caught them putting icicles down Catkin's dress. The middle of the drift was carefully hollowed out. Mr. Apple inspected the roof very thoroughly to make sure that it was safe. Safe as the store stump, he declared. All the kitchens along Brambly Hedge were warm and busy. Hot soups, punches, and puddings bubbled, and in the ovens pies browned and sizzled. Clover and Catkin helped Mrs. Apple string crab apples to roast over the fire. The boys had to sit and watch because they ate too many. It's not that I mind, dears, but we must have some left for the punch. The glowworms were put in charge of the lighting. Mr. Toadflax fetched them early from the back at the end of the hedge, for Mrs. Apple had insisted that they should have a good supper before their long night's work began. By tea time, the hall was finished. The ice columns and carvings sparkled in the blue-green light, and the polished dance floor shone. Tables were set at the end of the hall, and eager cooks bustled in from their kitchens with baskets of food. The children decorated a small raised platform with sprays of holly, while Basil, the keeper of the hedgerow, and the hedgerow wines, set out some chairs for the musicians. When all was done, the mice admired their handiwork and went home to wash and change. As muffs and mufflers were left at the door, it was clear that all the mice had dressed up for the grand occasion. Wilfred and Teasel crept under a table to watch, and every now and then a little paw appeared, and a cream cake disappeared. Basil struck up a jolly tune on his violin, and the dancing began. All the dances were very fast and twirly, and were made even faster by the slippery ice floor. Wilfred and Teasel whirled their sisters round so quickly that their paws left the ground. "I don't feel very well," said Clover, looking rather green. Mrs. Apple stood on a chair and banged 2 saucepan lids together. "Supper is served," she called. eating and drinking and dancing carried on late into the night. At midnight, all the hedgerow children were taken home to bed. As soon as they were safely tucked up, their parents returned to the ball. Basil made some hot blackberry punch, and the dancing got faster and faster. The snowball went on until dawn. The musicians were tired. The ice columns began to drip. The sleepy mice could dance no more. They wandered home through the snow tunnels, climbed the stairs, and crept into their warm beds. Outside the window, the snow had started to fall again, but every mouse in Brambly Hedge was fast asleep. Stars, moon, sun, now our story is done. May it rest in our hearts, and the light now shine from within.